And for this episode of For the Lads, we'll be interviewing one of my all-time favourite motocross riders from the golden age of motocross. Two-time runner-up in the AMA Nationals, multiple-time Motocross of the Nations participant, race overseas in MXGPs, one of the toughest SOBs to ever race motocross, and went on to train the next generation of motocross athletes. It is our pleasure to have this man on our channel, and I'm looking forward to getting right into this, so stay tuned. And welcome back to another episode of For the Lads, and we're here with a childhood hero of mine, RYNO Ryan Hughes, mate. I'm so pumped to have you here, mate. It really means a lot to me.
Well, my pleasure. You know, I love to talk I love to talk to people. I love to share my life, my mind, my stuff, and you know, everybody's a friend of mine until you rub me the wrong way, I guess, right?
No, I really appreciate it, man. If you want to
Yeah.
just tilt your screen just a little bit, because I've cropped the top of your head off. There we are, brother. There we are.
Okay.
Now
Yep.
we see you. Um,
All right.
so yeah, we'll jump in with something more recent. Brownie, Mike Brown, you were over there with him. His crash. Obviously, you are good friends. It's good that you went over there to support your friend. How is he going?
It was good. Just one day, you know, I heard about the crash and all that, and then just one day out of the blue, I just got this intuition that I'm like, man, I need to go see Brownie, you
Yeah,
know? And so I had Janelle, my woman, call his girlfriend and ask, hey, you know, would Brownie be okay if Rhino came and saw him? And then so she just kind of relayed that, look, it would be amazing because the team's only shown up one day, family came there and only wanted shit from them, friends have stopped coming over. So that's when it starts getting to the darkness, is when you go home.
yeah,
You know, I visit a lot of people in the hospital, and their spirits are good because they have constant care, constant people coming in, this and that. But then when you get home is when the reality sets in. And so she told me that, and I said, boom, I booked the ticket the next day. And I said, hey, say, don't tell him, you know, don't tell him that I'm coming. And so she said, okay. And she was supposed to come to the airport by herself, but then he jumped in the car. So they knew they were going to go pick somebody up.
yeah,
And so he's naming every single name he could think of,
yeah,
everybody,
yeah.
never mentioned me, you
No,
know? So when he showed up to the airport, I was standing outside and he's like, what? Rhino, what are you doing here? And like a little tear came out of his eye, and it was
no,
just
that's
like,
nice.
boom, you know, connection. And it's not like we've been friends, you know, we have respect for each other. Not that we've been enemies,
No,
you know,
no,
of course,
yeah,
just on the track a little bit, but never like friends call each other, all that stuff.
yeah,
So when I went back there, hung out with him, and he was like, hey, man, if you want to go do anything, you know, this and that, go ahead. I'm like, no, man, I came here to hang out with you.
yeah,
And so once we started talking more and more and more and more, we started finding out that we're pretty much the same person, you know,
yeah,
of how we go about things, our hard headedness, our stubbornness, you know, whatever it is to get things done or to accomplish what we want.
yeah,
You know, we're kind of like eye to eye that way. So I just helped him kind of, you know, think about, you know, that's the thing, is a lot of people have these injuries where they can't be themselves anymore, so then they lose themselves. But I'm just like, well, there's two sides. There's one side that's just this inner spirit, this inner motivation, this inner drive, and
yeah,
then there's this other side of you that is the activity that you're doing,
yeah,
right? So just because you lose that activity that you're doing doesn't mean that you should lose that inner strength, that inner drive, that inner discipline,
yeah,
right? Because now if you lose the, you know, I guess the activity that you're doing, well, you know, you're just losing that. You might be losing a part of you.
yeah,
But if you lose that inner drive, that inner force, that inner person, well, now you're losing yourself.
yeah,
And so I always say, because I had to do the same thing with racing or in my life, is that I can't ride really anymore. I mean, I can, but I just don't want to know that the consequence. Race bicycles, all that stuff, I had to put on the back burner. So I made sure that I didn't lose myself, and I just changed directions.
yeah,
So that same person's there, but in a different area, meaning, you know, self care, yoga, da da da. Just it's a different. It has to. It's just different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is it exciting? No. Is it sometimes rewarding? No. Is it as fun? No.
Yeah.
But I don't want to lose who I am. I don't want to lose my spirit.
Yeah.
So that same discipline that I put over there is now just focused on other stuff. So I just tried to share that with him as much as I could, so he would understand. Don't lose Mike Brown,
Yeah.
right? And things happen in our lives. Excuse me, for life, God to see us in a different way, to experience us in a different way,
Yeah.
and we have to. Every warrior has to put down the sword. And Mike was telling me that, man, there's been a couple times that I said, I'm done. I'm
Yeah.
done. I can't do this anymore. But here I come back. And I said, that happened to me many times. And I always explained to it, it's like a kid pissing in the corner.
Yeah.
First time he pisses in the corner, he'd be like, bro, what are you doing? You
Yeah.
don't piss in the corner. The toilet's right here. Second time he does it, you give him a little smack on the ass. Third time he does it, you maybe grab him by the shirt. The fourth time he does it, you just smack his ass, or just smack him hard. And
Yeah.
that's kind of what life does. Hey, you should probably think about this. You should probably stop. Oh, wait, you're not listening? Okay, I'm going to make you stop.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what kind of happened to me. And so I'm just telling him it's time to put down that warrior,
Yeah.
and
Well, it's been.
open up this other side of Mike Brown
Yeah.
that, you know, maybe a lot of the world wouldn't know, but would really love.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, you could definitely funnel
So,
that passion and the determination into other avenues. And I heard a good saying once that life comes in like seasons. And,
yeah.
eventually it has to be the next season, and like you said, life is going to force you that way, whether it's just your body can't handle it or what have you, something happens or whatever. But, I mean, he's
Yeah,
been
you got to put
going,
everything to you got to put everything to bed at some time. You
yeah,
know what I mean? And it's you can't be a warrior for 35, 40 years. It's
yeah,
going to catch up to you. It's going to catch up to you after a while.
yeah,
And so that's where my advice to him, but also just giving time, because my whole thing is, it's so easy to be like, oh, somebody's hurt, somebody needs help. Oh, boop, pushed a button, sent $100,
yeah,
on with my day.
yeah,
But how many people can give their time to people?
yes,
Not
yeah,
many. And someone that can give their time to people, well, that means that person, to me, really cared. Not just,
definitely,
oh, I'm doing it so I get good luck, or
yeah,
baby Jesus will love me, or I'll go to some place, right?
yeah,
And that's fictitious. It's like, how many people can give their time?
yeah, and it obviously meant.
And that's hard to do.
I mean, the fact that you said he like teared up a little bit, that really shows how much it meant. And then it's
Yeah.
reaffirming to you as well that, hey, the effort that I made and put forth to make this happen, is all worthwhile. You know, that's
Yeah, I
awesome.
mean, I wasn't looking to get anything back from it. I
True,
wasn't looking to get
definitely.
anything back from it. My main concern was that he would be okay if I came and saw him.
Yeah, but the mere
You know,
fact that that
what
meant
what
so much to
what what
him.
came
Yeah,
what
sorry.
came from that? Sorry, what came from that is what came from it. You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying? But just as long as he was okay, and then what came from it was just a lot of, I guess, a lot of respect. You
yeah,
know, uh, knowing somebody cared,
yeah,
giving him advice on some of the things that I've gone through,
yeah.
and that's really about it.
Because you've been through like a wealth of injuries and that as well. Like, I mean,
Yeah, I've again, 26 different broken bones, probably
jeez,
25, 6 surgeries. You know, I've done probably 4 lungs, like 12 ribs, lacerated liver, no ACL, pretty much my whole career.
yeah,
I have, uh, let's see, four rods, 3 plates, 33 screws in my body.
jeez,
I've had 20 concussions, and I've been paralyzed 4 times.
jeez.
All from the sport of motocross. Well, one broken neck was on a street bike. A car hit me. I thought I was
Still
being
managed
safer,
for it
but
to be bike
apparently
related
not.
though.
Yeah, it's motorcycle related for
Yeah,
sure. So, yeah, so I've beat myself up, and I would do it all over again
yeah,
if I had a chance to go race again, for sure.
yeah,
Um, but the biggest thing for me is, what I try to promote to people is, what about after? What about,
yeah,
because everybody's going to have those injuries, everybody's going to have those setbacks, but how do you deal with it and how can you go on through life without being addicted to pain pills or
Yeah.
addicted to something else, which I never have been, or I don't use anything for pain at all. Zero,
Yeah.
zero pain. And it's because of my lifestyle, eating correctly,
Yeah.
grounding to the earth, ice baths, saunas, yoga, hiking,
Yeah.
um, things like that is what's going to make sure that you don't have lingering effects. Because to me, your lifestyle is like your back wheel or your front wheel,
Yeah.
right? You can't hit 15 spokes and forget the rest, or you're going to have a wobbly wheel in the air.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have to hit every spoke with the same amount of torque to make that wheel true. So same with your lifestyle. You have to hit everything with the same amount of torque, not too much, not too little,
Yeah.
meaning your nutrition, your detox, your fitness, your mindset, your lifestyle, your people, your friends, your relationships. Everything has to have that balance, or you're going to have a untrue wheel, meaning an untrue life.
Yeah. How do you go with do you, obviously you must have some aches and pains, and like your lifestyle, like you said, is negates a lot of that. But how do you go by like day by day with your previous injuries? Do you deal with a lot of pain or?
No, I don't have any pain.
Wow,
The only
really?
time I have pain is if I don't have any pain. As long as I have pain is if I train too hard,
Yeah.
or I don't move at all. Meaning,
Yeah.
like, let's say, I'm flying or traveling or whatever it is, or sick, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You're kind of stationary for a day or two. Then I start getting a little bit tight and sore.
Yeah.
Or if my excuse me,
That's
if my motivation gets too strong and I train too hard, well, then I'm sore.
yeah.
So even with my training and even with my resting, I have to have that happy medium.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's how life should be. You should meet life in the middle. Nothing too high, nothing too low,
Yeah.
nothing too extreme, and nothing too stale. And
Yeah.
that's what I always say. My God lives between my mild and my wild.
Yeah.
If you're too wild, you lose yourself. If you're too mild, you suffocate yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you got to have that happy medium, because that's what nature is.
Yeah.
It's a happy medium. And same with that. Half the day's light, half the day's dark,
Yeah.
unless you live in Iceland.
I
Then it is a different story.
always loved that
So
about you when you were racing. You were like, the wild man out there. Like aggressive, never say die. I remember you saying one time, I think was it Grant Langston, that you were lined up next to him and you're like, hey, you better get a good jump or I'm gonna cut your ass off. Like,
yeah,
that's cold.
we laugh about that, and it's true, because
Yeah.
it's coming down to the championship. And
Yeah.
I wasn't a dirty rider.
No.
I never took anybody out on purpose,
Yeah.
never, ever, ever. And so going for a championship, well, I'm going to use every tactic I can, and that is,
Definitely.
hold on a second.
Yeah.
Damn it, I just ate lunch, so sorry.
No worries.
I just every tactic I can, and that's just telling the truth. Hey, look, if you do not get a good jump, I'm gonna cut your ass off. And so
Yeah.
after the race, I think I got second because of Bubba got first, of course, and then I don't
Yeah.
know what place he got. I came back and I pointed at him. I said, "Dude, I told you what I was gonna do."
But just
You know,
the
and
mentality in you.
but we're friends now. We laugh about it, and
Yeah.
same thing with Mike. We laugh about the fight we got into and the things, and then he admitted that, yeah, that was probably the dirtiest thing I did was T-bone you in that corner, in
Yeah.
practice and all that stuff. So it was kind of funny to hear
Yeah.
that.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're super competitive, and it's you're to that point in your life. That's your whole life's work, and like you ain't gonna let anyone get in the way of that at the time. So I could definitely appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean, why should you? You put too much time in, you put too much years in, there's too much risk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's too much pride in it too. So why would you ever allow someone to just pass you, or just to beat you, or not come to the line with a positive mindset?
Yeah.
I came to a line, even I'm racing Bubba. I already knew I was probably going to lose, but I came in there with this mindset of unbreakable, I'm unbeatable, I'm unstoppable. There's no way anybody's going to fucking beat me. I will
Yeah.
not allow it. I will
Yeah.
not allow it. And it's over and over and over and over and over till the gate dropped. Then you got to deal with the race.
Yeah.
Yeah, may I got beat, no problem. But then the next race I do it again and get beat again. Okay, next race again. At least I'm lining up with an offensive mindset
Yeah.
and not lining up with the defensive mindset of what if, what could, what might.
Yes.
That You're never going to win with that.
Yeah.
Never going to win with that. So at least start off with, even if you got to lie to yourself, and that's what I got to tell a lot of kids. I'm like, you don't trust yourself, believe in yourself, have the confidence. Well, let's start lying to yourself and just start telling yourself that you do,
Yeah.
because then after a while, you're going to start being that. Because why are you the one that doesn't have any confidence? Is because you've said that to yourself so many times that now it's become an implant. It's going to imprint it in your mind, because your mind is just a recorder of the past, of what you read, what you heard, what you saw, and what someone's told you.
Mm.
And even your own mind, what it's told you. That's
Mm.
all you are. So you have to remap that by sometimes lying to yourself in the beginning, but then all of a sudden it starts to become like reality.
Mm. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you've
Yeah,
got
there's no
to.
other way, you know?
Yeah. I mean, if you can't do it yet, you've got to talk yourself into it to begin with,
Yeah,
until it
yeah,
happens. Yeah.
exactly.
Because you did have a lot of injuries earlier on, and that. How do you reckon that maybe affected your potential, and like where you reckon things might
I
have gone?
I mean, I think it affected me massively, because before, like from the 80, 90, 90, 91, all that,
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I was, my first national. I mean, I started racing in 1984, 9 to 11 beginner.
Yeah.
1988, I was 125, 250 pro. 1990, I finished fifth in my first national.
Yeah.
6 years. So that's pretty fast.
Definitely.
Then, I finished top 10 the rest of the year in nationals. Went to Loretta's that year and all the amateur nationals, won 10 amateur titles the whole year against McGrath, Swink,
Mm.
Phil Lawrence, all these guys that were, kick ass riders, Mike Brown, the
Mm.
stuff. Then 91, almost won the first Supercross. Myself and Brian Swink came from dead last. He beat me by a knobby.
Mm.
My first 250 Supercross, I finished ninth. So I was beating Jeremy and all that regularly,
Yeah.
regularly. Then I went that same year, went to Tokyo Dome, broke my wrist, scaphoid, didn't figure out that it was broken for a while. So I had some complications with it. And then let's see, that's all I can move it up.
Yeah. Shit.
That's it. So I did my whole career like that. And so that is when my injury started, because when I give it gas, I'm already off balance,
Yes. Yeah.
right? So I'm off balance. So if I'm off balance and something goes a little bit incorrectly, well, I just magnified that mistake or bobble or problem,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
then the same thing that's happened to a lot of guys, Bubba, Kennard, quite a few people have gotten hurt quite a few times, that you start getting a little gun shy.
Yeah.
And once you start getting a little gun shy, then you magnify problems again,
Yeah.
right? And so those things are what I think caused a lot of injury in my life, and a lot of kind of a staleness in my progression.
Yeah.
So, but
So.
it is what it is. It is what it is. And, those guys, yeah, they beat me. They won a lot more titles, a lot more races, but you have to go to their house to
Yeah.
go see those trophies and see those number one plates. And where's their give back to the audience or the people in the sport? Where's their advice? Where's their you know understanding or knowledge of it?
Yeah.
And so for me, I have the ability to speak, to be able to teach, to be able to explain something very difficult in a very simplistic way.
Yeah.
And I'll take that all day for over 10 championships. Maybe my bank account would like the 10 championships, but
Yeah.
what I can offer people
Yeah.
and what I can share with people is so much more than just a number one plate hanging on my wall that has dust on it now.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Definitely. Yeah.
So, because for me, if you came to my place, you would have no idea I raced a motorcycle.
True.
Not a clue. Unless you went into one little room and saw just a couple things that I kept.
Yeah.
You know, I don't live in the past, and I don't want to be 52 years old still living like I'm 25, or
Yeah.
still banking on when I was 25. Now I'm 52, so look at me differently now
Yeah.
than when I was racing a motorcycle.
Yeah. Yeah. Seasons. You're in a different season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have to be, man. You have to grow, you have to develop, you have to improve.
Yeah.
Or that's what life is. Life is about evolving. Everything on this earth evolves.
Yes.
So do we. We evolve. So you have to evolve as a person, and not just be stuck at, I was this guy.
Yes.
And you see that happen to a lot of champions. They're
Yeah.
stuck there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're stuck there. And I don't know if I'd want to be that guy.
Especially like coming from, racing motocross, or like professional fighters where there's all that glory and everything. You're always living life on the edge, and then to have that like taken away, like you said, a lot of people do struggle with the transition. I mean, I see you, obviously your Instagram stories, and you look like you're living a pretty good life over there, brother. Mrs. takes good care of you, and you've got a nice place there, and it looks like you're enjoying your life.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has their struggles, everybody has their holes, everybody has their wishes and wish nots, and we're human. It's just everybody's the same.
Yeah,
Everybody's the same. It's just some people struggle a little bit more, some people this. It's just all our struggles, all our mishaps, all our holes in us just have different names to them,
yeah,
but they're the same thing. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? And an athlete has to fall from grace,
yeah,
a CEO has to fall from grace, a business owner has to fall from grace, you know, a
yeah,
mom has to fall from grace because
yeah,
now she's not mom. Now there's nobody needing her. A
yeah.
dad has to fall from grace because now he's not, you know, you know, protecting or, you know, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but like giving to the family, if
Yeah, I
that
see
makes
what you mean.
sense.
Yeah,
So once you're at this level of something, well, and then when that something's gone, you fall from grace. Yeah,
yeah,
there's different levels to it.
yeah,
There's different levels to it, but everybody has to go through that because people talk to me and it's like, oh, motocross is so hard. And I laugh. I'm like,
yeah,
I go, wait till you quit.
yeah,
I go, wait till you quit. Then you're going to see what hard is because
yeah,
you're not going to know who you are. And that's what I talked to Mike Brown about. I'm like, look, when I got hurt, a couple weeks later, I'm like, well, who in the fuck am I?
yeah,
I can't be RYNO anymore. I
yeah,
can't be RYNO. I can't ride this motorcycle like I did, and I can't try to impress people with my fitness and my this and that. And he's like, dude, he goes, that's what I'm going through right now. He
yeah,
goes, I don't know who I am,
yeah,
and so that's where you have to kind of start to evolve and find this other side of yourself,
yeah,
right? Or you're just going to be, like that, in America, the high school quarterback, or maybe something in Australia,
yeah,
where you're still reliving like when you're in high school.
yeah. I
You
mean,
never get over it.
that the trials,
Yeah.
that's where growth happens. I mean, no one ever
Yeah.
you never grow, and you never develop as a person when things are easy. You develop when things are hard. So I definitely feel where you're coming from.
Yeah. A struggle makes you think. A struggle makes you, it actually makes you more creative. A struggle makes you ponder. A struggle makes you turn your eyes back on yourself. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So, when it's all just happiness and this and that, well, then you don't look at the change. The same as a racer.
yeah,
If a racer has a bad race, well, he's looking at it and dissecting it for a week or two before the next race.
yeah,
If you win, it's high fives. Let's go get a pizza and move on, right?
yeah,
But that's incorrect also, because if you're always if you're always kind of like you know, picking apart the bad races, well, what are you thinking about a lot?
mm,
Your mistakes and what you did wrong, da da da. If you never look at your good races, well, how are you supposed to repeat those?
yeah,
So I always tell my riders, if you guys have a good day, good race, the family sit down, stop, turn everything off, and talk.
yeah.
Where was dad with his energy? Where was mom with her energy? Where were you with your food?
Oh,
Sorry about that.
no, that's okay.
Yeah, with your food, with your training, with your rest,
Yeah,
right? Because then you can kind of see that I did this and I didn't do that, and dad was cool and mom wasn't stressed, and then you had a good weekend,
yeah,
right? So because it's a team effort, motocross is a team effort, a family team effort. It's not just a one individual thing. Because even when you get to the pro rank, it's a team effort.
yeah,
Just before you have a team, the team is mom and dad
yeah,
and you.
yeah. So
So
you're breaking down not just what you did on the track, but what you did off the track as well on the good
yeah,
days.
because
Yeah,
usually, because most people are going, oh, I trained 2 hours today. Cool. What about the other 22 hours?
yeah,
What did you watch? What did you listen to? What did you eat? When did you go to bed? Who are you hanging out with?
yeah,
Blah, blah, blah. You're going to become more of those 22 hours in a day than you are going to be for 2 hours a day.
yeah,
What you do, how you do anything is how you do everything.
yeah,
So so those 22 hours are going to stick with you more than those 2 hours.
yeah. And you were,
Yeah.
I heard you say before that when you were younger, you used to watch tape of yourself racing, yeah?
Yeah, I was lucky that way, and I think that's a huge, huge, huge thing that people are missing, especially amateurs. My dad videotaped every single moto I ever raced,
Yeah,
and pretty much until the year that he died.
yeah,
You know, so I'm talking everyone.
yeah,
And even when I'd go practice, I would I would have someone film me sometimes because I love to watch myself ride
yeah,
because I would see when I was riding good, I'd see when I was riding bad, and then you constantly seeing that. Well,
yeah,
you're gonna be you're gonna be knowing, you know, what good feel looks like and what bad looks like because really motocross is the only sport that doesn't review tape except at the races.
yeah,
If I had to do it again, or if my son raced, he'd be videoed
yeah.
every day, and
And
he'd come home and he'd watch it.
especially back
You know,
then, like in the 80s and that, you would have been a real outlier for that as well. I wouldn't imagine a lot of people doing that back then.
no, my dad held this big ass camera on his back with a battery pack. You know what I mean? I mean, these were VHS tapes.
Yeah,
The big wide thick ones.
yeah,
And he videoed every single moto. Like we go to a Loretta or a Ponca City qualifier, and I have four classes, two motos each. That's 8 motos in a day.
yeah, shit. And you
He'd work.
videoed
He'd
all.
work on my bike. He'd work on my bike and film every lap of
Wow.
every moto. And so that's why I feel I went from beginner 80 to
Yeah,
national pro and top five in 6 years.
yeah.
That's pretty quick.
That's what
And
you
I would
call
have
it.
to say it's a lot of the tapes, and then I'd watch anything that I could possibly watch of Rick Johnson, Brock Glover, David Bailey, Johnny O'Mara, Ron Lachine, any tapes
Mm,
that I could get my hand on,
mm,
you know, pictures, magazines, cycle news, anything. I would just stare
yeah,
and stare and stare and study what I thought I was seeing.
yeah.
You know what
And
I
like
mean?
comparing
But back
yourself
then it
and
was
what they're
just
doing.
yeah, back then it was just a lot of guessing.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? We didn't have trainers, we didn't have coaches, we didn't have, you know, kind of science behind it.
yeah,
So back in my day it was whoever trained the hardest was going to win. Well, that's not really the case, but that's what we thought. So nobody could train harder than I did.
yeah,
Nobody was fit as I was. But I overdid it, but we
yeah,
didn't know it.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So Jeremy told me a thing that McGrath, he goes 100. He goes Saturdays were always my days that I was 100%.
yeah,
Because Monday I was 75%. Wednesday, Thursday I was like 85%, and then Saturday I was 100%. And I'm like, hmm.
yeah,
I was trying to go 100, 100, 100, 100,
yeah,
and then maybe by Saturday I didn't really notice it, but I was actually only 90% of my true potential,
yeah,
you know, because I was already kind of tired out, whipped,
yeah.
but nowadays it's a little bit, now we know,
He always looks
Yeah.
so
Hey,
smooth
hey,
and
one,
yeah, man.
once, yeah, 1 second. I think
Yeah,
my plug came out, so I
yeah.
don't lose. 1 second. Oh, Megan, hold on. Everybody, hold on. We got malfunctions here. We got to call NASA. 1 second.
Yeah, no worries, brother. I can trim
All
this
right.
segment.
Now we're plugged back in. Good.
Yeah, so I was just saying, with Jeremy, he always looked so calm and smooth, and like everything was, especially Supercross, like everything was very effortless. Did he? Because
Well,
you
that's
raced.
that's what
Sorry, go on.
yeah, that's what confidence and trust does.
Yeah, yeah,
So if you're watching the tour right now, which I am, the Tour de France, you can see Tade Pagache. He's just cool, doo-doo-doo. No problem because he's so relaxed because there's confidence and trust.
yeah,
And when there's confidence and trust, there's not excess energy being put out by fear and stress.
yeah,
So he's going to recover quicker
yeah,
than somebody else, right? And
yeah,
so that's where I kind of got out of that was like, with Jeremy, he was phenomenal racer, phenomenal rider, but I think it was more the confidence and trust kind of relaxed mindset that made him very precise,
yeah,
very consistent.
yeah,
Because precision and consistency creates speed,
yeah,
not just kind of like unthoughtable speed,
yeah,
right? Because if you let's say you go to the track and you listen, you have your head turned and you're listening to people on the track,
yeah, yeah,
and someone says, "Oh, here comes Barsha," and he's just like, "Holy shit!" You're like, "Whoa."
Yeah.
And then here comes Jett, and you're like, oh, he must be cruising,
Yeah.
right? But he's gonna have a lap time probably 3 or 4 seconds faster. And the same thing happened to me when I did the nations. I was watching Stefan Everts, which was one of my favorite riders. Even though I raced against him, I
Yeah.
just love to watch him. Love to watch him. And we're in Belgium, and I had a different practice, and he had, and he I was at the fence watching. He come by, he's leaning over the front. He's probably like in seventh gear, just
Yeah.
boom. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, he's just cruising. So I was looking the other way. All of a sudden, over the loudspeaker, Stefan Everts, fastest time. I'm like, what the fuck, But constant momentum,
Yeah.
constant traction, no stop and go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what creates speed.
And
That's what creates speed
there's a lot
is
of
that constant traction, constant momentum, no stop and goes, not
yeah.
fixing mistakes.
There's
Because again, if you're stopping and going, you're losing traction, you're fixing mistakes. Well, why don't you just slow down 15%?
yeah. There's
But
a lot of
a lot of us don't
comparisons.
have. Some of us don't have that mentality to do that.
Yeah.
So that's the difference.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Is some people just have this rage of effort, and other people have this calmness of effort. Just like you look at Jett, I
Yeah.
call him like a monk on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
You know, I've never witnessed anything like it
Yeah.
in my life. Maybe a John Michelle Bale,
Well, what
but
about Stefan Everts? Because there's usually a lot of comparisons with Jett and Stefan.
yeah, there is. But I don't think Stefan can handle someone on his ass 1 second behind him for 30 minutes and not make a mistake.
Yeah. I mean,
That's the difference.
what
That's the difference. Okay,
separates
if he
Jett?
has
Well, like what?
30, if he has 30 seconds on somebody,
Yeah.
yeah, very easy. But Jett has won many, many, many nationals with
Yeah.
someone 1 second, 2 seconds behind him, and he does not make a mistake.
Yeah.
That's impressive
It
to
is.
me.
It's wild. And like,
Yeah.
it's hard to tell sometimes, like, and you hear the conversation all the time. Is he just sort of like, could he drop these guys, or is he just not taking the risk because it's not necessary? Like, what do you think? Do you think he could, if he wanted to, he could drop the hammer, or he takes it to that point where he's on the edge, but he's never quite gone past it because he knows that's good enough to get him the championships?
I think in his mind, it's just I go as fast as I need to go to win,
Yeah,
right? But we have seen that that just drop dead speed the
yeah,
last few nationals, starting
yeah,
from 18th to first,
yeah,
the other one from 16th or whatever to first, and you see how fast he goes by people.
yeah,
You see how much more, and there's intensity, there's smoothness, there's calmness, but there's more intensity with with what he's doing. He puts the
yeah,
wheel to the ground quicker.
yeah,
He makes his corners a little bit faster. He
yeah,
jumps just a teeny bit farther. You know what I mean? And all
yeah,
those things start adding up. So
yeah,
we have seen him drop the hammer, but him dropping the hammer doesn't look wild at all,
yeah,
right? So when Eli drops the hammer, it looks wild. You get what
yeah.
I'm saying? You can
It's like
hear
a
the bike, you can
Carmichael.
see the back end going around,
Yeah,
you can see the bike sideways, but Jett doesn't do that. He drops a hammer with almost the same precision as he is riding at maybe 85, 90%.
yeah,
So for me, I love watching Jett. I
yeah,
really, really like watching this guy ride. And
mm,
most people don't cheer for the champion or the guy that's winning all the time. I
yeah,
do cheer for him because, I'd love to see him beat records just because I'm so impressed by his technique,
yeah,
his approach, and his mindset. So it's a very hard person to beat.
mm,
That one is fit. Two, he's a specimen as
mm,
a physical being. I mean,
yeah.
he
He's
is.
built
He's
for
a
it.
he's a big dude. He's thick. He's muscular.
Yeah,
This and that. His technique is perfect,
yeah,
and his mind is like a monk.
yeah,
That is hard to beat. That's hard to beat,
yeah,
right? Because if you take James, he didn't have maybe a strong mind. You took Ricky, he's not a physical specimen, right? You take Jeremy, he wasn't really, he wasn't the fittest dude in the world,
yeah,
right? You take Stefan Everts, maybe he wasn't the strongest mentally, as we saw sometimes. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So, there's just something just a teeny bit more, a little bit different than the rest of them I see with Jett.
yeah. When you mention of like James, And, you know, we've all seen him do things that on a motorcycle no one else could do. Do you think Jett is on that kind of level? He could do the same? Like that the wall jump in Daytona and all, like Jett would have been doing all that sort of stuff as well, or?
Yeah, I mean, Jet would have done all that stuff, and what blew us away by James was his ability to hang it on the edge.
Yeah.
But how many times did that cat crash?
Yes.
Whoa, whoa, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Jet doesn't impress us by his craziness of scrubbing it upside down, of
Yeah.
jumping shit that doesn't need to be jumped.
Yeah.
He's impressing us by just raw, consistent precision speed.
Yeah.
You know
No,
what I mean?
definitely.
And you never watch Jet and like James the whole time you're like he's just always kind of on the verge of a crash.
Yeah.
And the reason that James was kind of always on the verge of a crash, if you watch him race, everything's perfect from his head till he gets to his feet. He rode flat-footed.
Yes.
Very
Yeah.
flat-footed.
Yeah. That is. Yeah.
Very flat-footed. So when you're riding flat-footed, there's not weight put to the rear wheel as much, so the bike's always kind of moving around like that.
Yeah.
If you look at Jet, there's the weight is always put to the rear wheel.
Yeah.
Always put the rear wheel. I don't think there's ever been a time that we looked at Jet and kind of went, he just doesn't do it.
Yeah.
And if you watch Hunter, these last three races, you've seen his technique change more.
Yeah.
Before a little bit more rounded, a little bit more tucked in the butt. Now you're seeing that more prominent hips rotated out as
Yeah.
you're seeing with Jet. And that's making all the difference in the world. And again, the three best riders to me in the world right now are Jett, Hunter, and Deegan.
Yeah.
And how do they all ride? They all ride the same. On their toes, gripping with their feet, hips rotated out, back straight, arms up, stretching out over the motorcycle, always putting weight to the rear wheel. And, these are the things I have taught for the last 15 years.
Yeah.
That exact style. And it came out right when these four strokes came out. And so it was like a kind of a meant to be thing. The development of the motorcycles happened. Well, then the development of the riders needed to happen, because if
Yeah.
it didn't, we would have a lot of hurt people like we did, because the techniques changed, but then the Liette braces came out and really fucked up everybody's riding technique,
Yeah.
because you had to go flat-footed, knees in front of the shoulders, upper body in the back of the bike to see up,
Yeah.
or sit down all the time.
That's the
So
net
when
braces they had.
you're wearing something for a 1% chance,
Yeah.
but then you're sacrificing yourself 100% of the time of being off balance in a weak, unstable, uncoordinated, inefficient position,
Yeah.
right? So those neck braces weren't maybe so dangerous after the crash because we don't have control of them. They
Yeah.
were so dangerous because they limited people's strong, stable, coordinated, efficient technique,
Yeah.
right? And so, but now you don't see
No.
anybody wearing these things at the top except most men. That he broke his neck, and you see the struggles he has sometimes with that neck brace on.
Mm.
You can't lock the body up at the highest point. That's like
Yeah.
that's like adding weight to a motorcycle up high at the handlebars. You'd
Yeah.
never be able to ride it.
Yeah.
If you've ridden motor off road, you'll understand what an empty tank feels like and a full desert tank feels like. You can't even turn the bike.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. Is that on with technique, you need to be strong and strong and stable in the bottom, from your feet to your hips. But from there up, the higher you get up to your head, the more loose you need to be.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just like all the weight on the motorcycle's down low, as you come up, the highest point of a motorcycle is a cable.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where the same thing with the technique. You can't have a mechanism, can't have a motorcycle and the mechanism that's riding it, the body, operate opposite of it.
Yeah.
And you could back in the 70s, 80s, 90s started becoming a problem. Once the four strokes came out, impossible.
Yeah. Did
Impossible.
totally change the
You
style.
cannot write it that way.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the way I look at it.
Little side question: what happened to the kidney harness?
Excuse me?
The kidney belts. They were always a thing when I was a kid racing. They just seemed to have disappeared.
Yeah, I think they don't really hold the kidneys. And it's just like it's just one more thing. You can't breathe. It's
Yeah,
hotter. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Because I just always remember Dad
Yeah,
being like, "Hey, you make sure you got that on." It's just like,
yeah. No,
and then
I
like,
just think you know it's just what we're programmed because
yeah,
motocross is such a dangerous sport
yeah,
and such a finicky sport that we don't want to go away from what we've been doing
yeah,
or what everybody else is kind of doing, right?
yeah,
So just like everybody brought on, okay, the the kidney belt.
yeah,
Well, once you kind of stop wearing it, you're like, shit, I don't really need this thing. Then big old chest protectors.
yeah,
Well, they kind of went away. The
yeah,
neck braces came in, the knee braces came in.
yeah,
And everybody's wearing knee braces. You got to have a knee brace, got to have a knee brace. Okay, well, then why every single this person that's hurt their knee in the last 20 years has had a knee brace on?
yeah,
So if they worked so well, why is everybody blowing their knees out?
yeah,
Right? Neck braces. Okay, I'm gonna wear a neck brace that's supposed to protect my neck, but it's resting on my spine.
yeah,
Again. So you paralyzed more people in those 3 4 years than any other time in motocross history.
yeah,
So that's my biggest thing is you can't immobilize a joint.
yeah,
You immobilize a joint that's coming out somewhere else. If you do whatever you do not lose or do not use, you lose.
yeah,
So a knee brace
yes,
is not allowing your knee to have to stabilize itself.
yeah,
So it's going to become weaker.
yeah,
You immobilize a muscle for 72 hours, it starts to atrophy.
yeah,
So this is where I think everybody's hurting their knees is that one, their knee doesn't have to stabilize itself.
yeah,
You know? Two, when you have and then when you break your legs, you break this, you can do that no matter what. But all knee braces slide down a little bit. So maybe the pivot point on that knee brace is in a place that's incorrect,
yeah,
right? So now it's putting more of a torque on your knee where it shouldn't be.
yeah,
And then when you wear knee braces, you take out 30 to 40% of interior and exterior rotation in your knee,
yeah,
right? You have that. And that's right at the seat. That's huge.
yeah,
That is huge. Take 30 to 40% of anything that's supposed to move out of the motorcycle and tell me how you're going to ride it. You're not going to be able to ride that bike to its true potential.
mm,
So if you take 30 to 40% out of the body on what's been designed to move, you're going to limit the potential of the body.
mm, yeah,
It's plain and
definitely,
simple. It's
definitely.
plain and simple.
Um,
So that's where I feel, the sport is gonna go is yeah, protection is very, very, very important, and it should be, like the blow up chest protectors. That's a great idea.
mm,
Things like that. But bracing stuff
it's
is
just
not correct
limiting
because
your movement.
that's like just bracing your frame and it's like bracing your chassis so it doesn't crack.
Yeah,
Well, you're not going to be able to ride it.
yeah,
It's going to feel like shit. It's going to be like the '97 Honda
yeah,
250.
yeah.
With the
The one,
first perimeter frame,
the one
it was
Jeremy dropped
unrideable.
Honda over.
Yeah, it's unrideable. So
Yeah,
anybody that I've ever told or someone that's listened to me or have come to me from woman to child to amateur to pro that said they have taken their knee braces off, they are blown away by how good they feel.
yeah,
They're saying I'm blown away. One, I can feel the bike. Two, my leg feels lighter. Three, I can get it out of the way.
yeah,
Four, I feel like I'm more fluid on the motorcycle.
yeah,
And and all of my advice that I tell people, and everybody thinks I'm crazy. Well, it's just it's functional advice. And I didn't mean to, say knee braces were no good or weren't, as good as no knee braces. I
yeah,
just went to the track after I got done racing, and I'm like, I do not want to get dressed and undressed. My God, it takes so much time. So I'm just like, screw it. I put knee pads on one day and I went riding. After about 2 3 laps, I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, whoa, this feels good.
yeah,
I couldn't believe how good I felt. So then I told my buddy, and then he tried it, and he was blown away too. And then the next person. So it just happened by chance with
yeah,
me to say that. But that's where I feel this next stage of riders are going to go is taking off a knee brace that has not have any scientific research or evidence of saying that it helps your knee.
yeah,
Now, if you have a fucked up knee, then okay. But downhill skiing is the hardest sport on knees, right?
yeah,
But they don't wear knee braces unless they have a really jacked up knee. They can't because they need that movement in their knees.
mm, No,
you
fair
know?
point.
And yeah, and so, people in motocross make their decisions out of fear.
Yeah.
They don't make their decisions out of
Which is
efficiency.
so
And
dangerous.
that's all my advice is out of efficiency.
Yeah.
Done. Because the more efficient you are on a motorcycle, well, the faster, smoother you're going to be and the less energy you're going to use.
Mm.
So,
No, definitely.
right? Yeah.
So I was just going to mention how you said Jett and Deegan are the two best riders in the world. So how do you think Deegan will go on the 450s with his like more aggressive style compared to like Jett sitting in a higher gear? Like his Jett's style seems a little bit more tailor made for the bigger bike. Do you think that will be an issue, or that won't be any issue for Deegan?
Um, Deegan will be fast. Deegan will be fast because he has this. It's just this fu attitude.
Yeah,
He's fit. He's a big dude. He's strong.
yeah,
He doesn't have fear.
yeah,
There's no fear of failure. So those are huge, huge things to already be accomplished by
yeah,
the time you get on the motorcycle.
yeah,
The way he rides won't suit the 450 as well. Not meaning he won't be fast,
yeah.
but it's not going to suit the 450 as well because everything, that wildness will be magnified,
Mm,
right?
yeah,
The bigger bike you get on, the smoother you got to be to ride it correctly. Just like back in the two-stroke days, you saw the 125 guys just wide open, bouncing off shit. The 250 guys pretty much wide open, but being a little bit more precise. The 500 guys being very calculated and precise and smooth and patient,
yeah,
or that bike would just kill you.
yeah,
So on a 450 and even 250, you have to ride these bikes by the way they've been designed to be raced
yeah,
or
yeah,
to go fast. So on a 250F, yes, you can override it, but sometimes you see Deegan actually be a little bit slower from, let's say in the Supercross when who's the number 100 kid? Cole Davies.
yeah.
Cole Davies was faster than him in a few races because he was so calculated and precise. Now that kid's going to be good.
Yes, yeah, I agree.
Deegan was trying to just jump everything too far, slam into everything, and he wasn't as fast. And then those last couple races, you saw him kind of smooth out a little bit. So what I'm saying in the beginning, I don't think he's going to have anything for Jett except in the beginning,
Yeah,
and then Jett will pull away because also a 450 will tire your ass out.
yeah,
But can Deegan learn to be a little bit smoother, a little bit more calculated, a little bit more, patient? Of course he can.
yeah,
So in the beginning, I don't think he's going to have much for Jett except maybe a few times here and there.
yeah,
But maybe after 2 years, 2 years, 3 years, maybe something, he might click into that and then have something for Jett.
yeah.
But you're asking him to change his mentality. That's like telling Jett. That's like telling Barsha to ride like Jett. It's not
Yeah,
going to happen.
no.
It's not going to happen.
I do love
Or you can see this is where you're going to see Deegan flatten out.
yeah,
Like this is all it has. He can't race at 450 like he did at 250.
yeah,
And that happens many,
it,
many, many, many times to riders.
mm,
They came up through the 250 class and kick ass. They get to the 450 class and they just go stale,
yes, yeah, definitely.
right?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Happens a lot. Um, I was just gonna say I love Deegan's like his personality and attitude, and I love his patriotism and all that. Like I'm an Aussie, so I'm the Lawrence boys all the way. But I
Yeah.
love that he's pro America and all that. Like especially in the West, because there's so much bullshit when it comes to that. People get demonized, but I love it. I reckon you're an American. You should celebrate your country, especially America,
It's
mate. America's the best nation out there. All the best movies, all the best music, everything comes from the US. So I love it.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be very careful what you believe, and especially now, not that America, but people are patriots and this and this and this.
Yeah,
It's if you know your algorithms or whatever the fuck they are,
yeah,
you know what people like and what they don't like, and you got to be very careful. The Deegan family, to me,
yeah,
you know, because they know how to sell YouTube, they know how to sell likes, they know how to sell that. So they're
yes,
gonna say the right things, talk on the right things, because I like Hayden too. He's a
yeah,
good kid. I coached him. I'm the one that got his neck brace off him
yeah,
and all these things. I coached him for a couple of years when he on the right before he got into 250F class. So he's a good kid, but some of the stuff that he does, like I watched a couple things on YouTube of his TikTok,
yeah,
and I told my woman, I'm
yeah,
like, after I was halfway through it and I turned it off, I'm like, I think I'm dumber. I think I'm dumber. Watching that just made me dumb. You know, it's
But
just
I mean, like,
there's a point that it's just
yeah,
too much. You know what I
true.
mean?
But it's
It's
almost
too
like
much.
a wrestler, you know, cutting a promo.
But
You know,
the
like
thing,
and it.
it's like Jake Paul,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like Jake Paul.
He's maybe a little bit. He's a bit much because he's going around beating on older men. But
Yeah, but I mean, it's just kind of like a Jake Paul thing, and you get that YouTube style of just, of just
yeah,
these little blurts and things of being a fool and all that
yeah,
stuff. And again, that's just like 5% of Deegan, I guess, of
mm,
Hayden. So, the other 95% I love, the
yeah,
way he rides, how aggressive he is and how he doesn't give a shit
yeah,
and he's pretty much telling everybody he's going to beat him.
yeah,
I dig that.
yeah. Me
I
too.
dig that.
I
You know what I
miss it.
mean?
That
When you
used
get
to
him
be.
away from the races,
Yeah,
he's a great kid, very quiet, this and that. Podiums, you never hear him complain.
yeah,
You always hear, even if it's fake, whatever, you hear him give praise.
yeah,
You hear him accept the defeat and not making excuses. So I like that too. There's
yeah,
just a little bit that it's like, okay, let's
yeah.
bring it down a little bit,
I
bro.
only ever see the stuff on like the post race stuff out on the stage. I don't really
Yeah.
have TikTok or I don't really watch too much social media, so I probably missed all that stuff. But
Yeah, I just see it on YouTube when I flip through shit and I'm bored.
but back in the
Yeah.
day, like back in your guys' day, when you said, "Oh, I race dirt bikes for a living," that automatically gave you like that bad boy persona. Like where I don't feel like
Yeah.
motocross has that now. Like in the
No,
90s.
these kids are so soft and fluffy and
It's just
yummy and like that. So
yeah,
Deegan brings that back. Jett brings that back a little
yeah,
bit, because Jett's very confident.
yeah.
And what I was gonna mention something, but I'll think of it. But
That's
yeah, that's just back in the day. It was a little bit more raw. You know what I mean?
yes, yeah,
More raw. And oh yeah, I know I was gonna mention is like everybody's yes, Deegan's fast, Deegan's this, Deegan's that, but he's not beating one champion.
yeah, yeah.
There isn't a champion in that class. Now let's go to 450.
Oh yeah, it's
Well,
all champions.
Malcolm's a champion.
Yeah,
Barsh is a champion.
yeah,
Sexton's a champion.
yeah,
Hunter's a champion. Eli's a legend.
yeah,
Prado's a champion.
yeah.
Um, 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 uh, Jason
M-
Anderson's a champion.
Malcolm Stewart is another one.
Yeah. Malcolm, I mean,
Yeah,
is a champion. So he's beaten
Chase.
champions.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's beaten champions.
yeah,
Deegan's not beating champions. That's
yeah.
the
No,
thing. So, hold your flow a little bit.
I agree,
It's,
100%.
it's because see who you're beating right now.
Yeah,
And yes, they're amazing riders, but they're not legends and
no.
champions.
A lot of them are younger than Deegan as well. Like a lot of the guys he's battling with.
Yeah, I mean, age wise is age wise, but just they're not they're not riders of the 450 riders calibers.
Yeah,
Again, and then also Cooper Webb,
yeah,
right? I mean, the list goes on and on.
yeah,
Aaron Plessinger,
yeah,
they're all champions.
yeah. It's like
So for
13 of them there.
Jet to go 21 out of 23 races beating
Yeah,
champions,
yeah.
that's a different story.
Do you reckon he could
It's a
go?
different story.
Do you think like he has the potential to beat all the records? Like it's possible
Jet,
with him, yeah.
um,
Because the
he has to
72
have,
Supercross wins, that's
yeah,
pretty
he just has
ridiculous.
to have, he has to have clean years.
Yeah,
He can't be having these half years anymore, or it's going to start catching up.
yeah,
Again, 'cause the titles, the records. I mean, if you look at them, Jeremy has 72 Supercross wins. I mean,
yeah,
that's incredible.
yeah,
Ricky Carmichael has 141
yeah.
overall rate
I know.
wins.
Yeah, that's insane.
He
When you,
never lost. He didn't never. He every time he never lost a national championship
yeah,
for a decade.
that's insane.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
So for Jett to beat that, he has the potential for sure.
yeah,
But it's called motocross, and can you be healthy enough
yeah. No
and
injuries.
consistent enough in the years to
Yeah,
be able to do that? So that's where I think he went wrong in the beginning with saying that, oh, I'm going for the record.
yeah.
Well, what happened when he said that? He put more pressure on himself, and he rode outside of himself and made
Yeah,
so many mistakes and crashes. Right
I
once he reeled that back in, then he started clicking off the wins.
yeah.
So sometimes you got to keep shit in your head and not say it out loud.
That's probably
You
just
know?
him being a kid and coming off a perfect outdoor season in his first season. Like, because
Yeah.
people forget
No, I
just
get
how
it,
young
and
he is, you know?
I get it and I applaud it,
Yeah.
but there's a reason to. There's also respect. You
Yes.
know,
Yeah. I
I'm
I
not saying I'm
agree.
going to go beat this record. And
Yeah.
then there's a time and place for it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, keep that in your head, keep that in your camp,
Yeah.
but don't go spreading it all over social media and press. Where
Yeah.
now people are asking you this question all the time, and people are putting this excess pressure on you. That now, to me, made him ride outside of himself that first year.
Yeah.
Now I think he has it dialed in, reeled in,
Yeah.
this and that. So if anybody can break the records, it's going to be Jett.
Yeah.
But those
They're
records
pretty
are,
legit. Yeah.
yeah. I
What
mean,
do you
I can't even, I can't sometimes can't even wrap my head around it. I'm just like, what,
what do you
what?
think
And
is
then if you look at Jeremy, if you put Jeremy and Ricky side by side standing there, and you says, yeah, the two most winning riders are in this room, and nobody knew about motocross,
yeah.
they definitely wouldn't look at those two.
No. Yeah.
They would look at
Yeah,
those
that's
two.
fair.
So
Like,
that just also shows that motocross isn't such a physical thing as we think it is. Yes, it
yeah.
is. But what's controlling the physical part of you? The
Yeah, the
mental part,
mind, yeah.
you know? And that's where, I think those guys maybe had something that the rest of us were missing,
Yeah.
right? And that's all I can say.
What speaking
So,
of like mental, what do you reckon is going on with Jorge Prado?
well, I just saw his mechanic today and I'm like, how's everything? I mean, did he lose his confidence? He's like, no, man, he's still confident. Like,
Yeah.
okay. Is he not having fun? No, he's having fun. Is he motivated? Not motivated? He's like, no, he's very motivated. I'm like, oh, so it's the bike. And I go, so the bike's a minute slower? I mean, I'm
Yeah.
honest, you know what I mean? I'm like,
No,
come on,
no.
bro. If you're saying your bike is so bad that you're a minute off the pace,
Yeah.
holy shit. Have you even tested before?
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
over a minute.
D-
So there's a lot of testing. There's a lot of development, a lot of changes you need to do to make up a minute.
yeah.
I mean,
Cuz
that's an eternity.
he was
It's not like
basically
you're off 10 seconds. Okay,
no,
10
it's
seconds, I get it.
yeah.
But a minute?
And being a world champion as well, like he come in, I mean, yeah, two-time world champion, but he was basically
Four
riding
time.
four time. Oh, it
Four time.
was two 450. I mean, like,
Yeah.
um, but he, he was basically riding because as far as I remember hearing, is like yeah, he had the gas, but it was pretty much like a KTM because they can like,
Yeah.
it's not like over there with they've got a different rule set, but that bike
Yep.
seems to be more nimble and a little bit. It looks like it's built a bit more different compared to the KX. Do you think it's not necessarily
Yeah.
the KX, but it's just his style doesn't match that bike too well?
Well, again, it doesn't match it, but a minute off the pace?
Yeah,
That's what I'm getting at. Is okay, 20 seconds,
yeah,
15 seconds. Okay, but a minute,
yeah,
that is eternity.
yeah.
And then again, it just doesn't look like he has any fire to him.
No, it doesn't.
There's no push, there's no rush. I know that's his style,
Yeah,
but people just go right around him. You get what I'm saying? So I don't know if it's 100% all the bike. I just feel a little bit too is that these Europeans, just like Tom Vial. Tom
yeah,
Vial came over here, two-time world champion, right?
yeah,
What do you do? Win one national?
yeah,
One?
yeah,
Maybe? Okay. So you're a two-time world champion. You come over here and you only win one national. So I think the Europeans underestimate the Americans on their tracks.
definitely.
On their tracks,
Yeah,
not in Motocross the Nations that we go over there and we ride it one time and we're they've been practicing Supercross for the last month and then
yeah,
they jump on outdoors. They go to a track that they've never ridden and
yeah,
blah blah blah. It's gonna be different, but you get the Americans on their own home track.
yeah,
It's a different story, and I think that you get maybe a little bit uh, I guess not naive about it, but you're not realizing that,
yeah,
right? It's kind of almost like going to race Jeffrey Hurlings at Lommel. is
Yeah.
impossible. Like you
Yeah.
might be good at Southwick.
Yeah.
You might be good at Southwick, but the first time you roll up to Lowell and you have two practices and all that, by the time the race comes, that dude's still going to be 5, 6, 7 seconds faster than you because he knows that track so well.
Yeah.
And so it's the same thing with America is that, and then then also I think a little bit the intensity,
Yeah.
in the beginning of the race
Yeah.
because Americans are so intense because we come from Supercross,
Yeah.
so we have that intensity,
Yeah.
and then that comes out into the nationals.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a little bit of combination of underestimating, different style of riding, maybe a little bit of discomfort on the motorcycle. Um, but now I think a little bit of lack of confidence is starting to slip in also.
Well, I was going to ask you as well with the like when you guys go over and race motocross the nations, you're bringing your factory bikes over there to race their factory bikes, but with their factory bikes, they can do whatever they want with their bikes as far as
Hmm.
like modifications and stuff.
Yeah.
When you're racing in the nations, is it the same deal? You're bringing over your bikes with the same restrictions that you've had in the US. It's the same bike, and then over there, they've got their bikes that they can do whatever they like to. So they'd have a big
Yeah.
advantage. Is that correct?
That's completely correct because we can't go over there and go, okay, we're going to bring our suspension over, but the chassis is different.
Yeah,
You know, the engine's in a different place, or
yeah,
the rake to the frame, whatever it is different. You're not gonna that suspension isn't gonna work. You're
yeah,
gonna have to figure out how to ride it, and you don't have
yeah. That's
long
right.
enough to ride it.
Exactly.
Yeah, you
I
know what I'm
think that's
saying.
something
So
people forget about as well when they watch the nations. That the guys that come over from the AMA have a handicap against them guys because how much more modification they can do with their bikes compared to you guys.
yeah, I mean that has something to do with it because you have the ability to take a flaw out of a production bike.
Yeah,
Over here, you can help it,
yeah,
but you can't take it out of it. You know what I
yeah,
mean? By redesigning something, re-engineering something, changing material, or whatever it is.
yeah,
So you're going to be at a little bit of a lack there, just like 1984, 1983, 83, 84, 85, when Honda had that motorcycle.
yeah.
It was just completely dominant because it was so far advanced than everybody else's,
Yeah, definitely.
right?
How did you find it
So,
when? Sorry, go on. Were you gonna say something?
no, just
Okay.
that's it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, how did you find it when you went over and raced in the GPs and like, then you had access to all that development and being able to change up the bike, as much as you like. You didn't have the same restrictions as you did in the US.
Um, let's say the first year I didn't have that. The first year we were kind of like, factory support. We got the stuff from the year before,
Yeah,
but our chassis was stock and stuff like that. So didn't really have it. The second year, then I was full HRC,
yeah,
and then it was a completely different bike. This and that. Now, how did I find it racing wise? I found it a very easy transition.
yeah,
Not that the riders were slow, not that anything else. Just it was a very easy transition because uh, we're racing a motorcycle,
yeah,
and we're racing on dirt. There's nothing different than America to South Africa to Japan
yeah,
to to Europe.
yeah.
Maybe the tracks are a little bit different layout wise, but ruts are ruts and bumps are bumps and sand is sand. You know what I mean?
So you
It
think
just
maybe
I
it's
I
overmade
I
a little
I
bit?
jumped into it really easy.
Yeah,
I struggled a little bit with the mud in time practice, but not in racing.
yeah,
Time practice, I wasn't fast. Those guys are super fast, but in the mud, I just to keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
yeah,
So that's where it kind of leveled out.
yeah,
But everything else, because back then we did 45-minute motos.
yeah,
I mean, when I tell people how much riding we did, so in a GP back then was two 45-minute practices, one 45-minute time practice. That's on Saturday.
yeah,
Okay. So two 45s and a 45-minute time practice. Sunday, 20-minute start practice, 45 minutes practice, and two 45-minute motos.
yeah,
That's a shit ton of riding. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Over here, we get a little bit on press day, which helps. But you're usually probably riding a track that's smooth or has amateur lines, so
yeah,
it's not gonna feel good. And then on race day, you have what, two 12-minute practices or something.
yeah,
So you better have a very very good memory very quickly,
yeah.
right, to
So it
memorize that track.
really gives you time to
Yeah,
get your
yeah,
bike styled and everything in. But I
yeah.
mean, like at the same time, like I mean, you guys over there already race too much anyway. So if you were to have that kind of weekend, every weekend, you know what I mean? Like, what's the break between each race in the GPs? Sorry,
In the break in between, like
like
between motos.
no, in between rounds.
I don't think there's the designated. Sometimes I have two in a row, three in a row. Sometimes I have a week in between, 2 weeks in between.
Yeah,
You know, I think it just depends, but it's not like a weekend off every single time.
yeah, yeah,
And so I don't think there's any like, set in place rules or
yeah,
scheduled way.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, fair enough.
So,
Um,
but over here, because again, even in Supercross, you get short practices. In Nationals, you get short practice. So it's bred it into us to
yeah,
just explode right from the get go.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's what I think Prado's not used to, is everybody exploding right from the get go, and he gets past real quick,
Okay.
and then maybe just kind of loses the confidence, and then again, very hard for a champion to look at himself. He's
Mm,
always going to go to a bike because
yeah,
he's done it. He's won so many times before. It can't be me.
that's a fair
It has to
point.
be the bike. Yeah,
Definitely.
but maybe you're just not riding. You're not riding these races correctly by sprinting in the beginning. You know, being more aggressive, riding a little bit past your limits sometimes,
Yeah,
and then you know, um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Because I
no,
saw them. I saw them both today. I saw Prado and his mechanic talk to him both.
yeah,
Didn't really ask much, but just asked a couple little things.
yeah,
And said I know he told me that his gas was so much faster than his Kawasaki.
yeah,
And so I get to how that would work for him to cruise through the corner, then explode, cruise through the corner, explode, roll through the corner, explode.
yeah,
But is that a minute? Is that a minute's worth of horsepower?
yeah.
I
And
don't know.
yeah,
I don't know.
it shouldn't be. Um,
I wouldn't think so, but
yeah, it
who
is at the
knows?
moment.
I can't.
I guess you can
I
only.
can't. I can't. I can't. I can't question a four-time world champion
Yeah,
that way.
no,
You have
fair.
to kind of believe what he says, but then you also have to look at the results.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. Um, just to circle back around, so when you used to watch tape of yourself and that when you were young coming up, you were really good friends with Jeremy McGrath as well. Did he do that with you?
No, I don't
No,
think I didn't see any other dads out there.
no,
You know, there's no dads with video cameras.
yeah,
It's just that's just what my dad did, and he loved to do it, and I enjoyed it. Right when I got home from the race, as soon as I got home,
yeah,
I sat in this chair and I put the tape on,
yeah,
and I'd watch it. And the
yeah,
next day I got home from school, put the tape on. Next day, tape on. Next day, tape on. Just and then I'd have tapes, so many tapes that I knew if I was going to this track, I'd put that tape back in
yeah.
and watch it.
Nice.
Right. And so, myself and Jeremy came up through the ranks very, very, very fast
Yeah,
because we both started pretty much the same time.
yeah,
And I would say I've been friends, not like chummy friends, but friends with Jeremy longer than anybody in my life,
yeah.
since we were 15 years old.
Wow.
And so, yeah, we've been friends for a long time. But he just had this gift. You know what I mean?
Do you reckon
And
a
you,
lot
you
of
can't
that's
deny
just
it.
the BMX and giving them a little bit more of a different style coming from the BMX?
Yeah, I think, with BMX, you have to be probably more of a feeler.
Yeah,
And so, what I've recognized about the best racers ever is they're all feelers.
yeah,
And so, even Carmichael, Jeremy, Stefan, Jett,
yeah,
Valentino Rossi, Michael Schumacher, Lewis Hamilton,
yeah,
Jimmy Johnson. The best of the best of the best are feelers because when you're thinking about it, you're going to be ahead of yourself or behind yourself,
yeah,
right? Because you can't think of right now.
yeah,
And thinking can't keep up with how fast motocross is happening. But you can't feel in front of yourself and you can't feel behind yourself. You only can feel right now.
yeah,
So that's why I feel that those guys are so, that's where the top of the top come from, is that they're feelers.
yeah,
And so you're right where that bike is, right on that part of the track.
yeah,
You're not a corner ahead, a corner behind. You're not with who's in front of you. You're not with who's behind you. You're
Yeah.
not stuck on a mistake, or are you stuck on what happened in the past?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
I get you.
you're feeling what's going on, because I asked, I talked to Carmichael one time, and we were shooting the shit, and I said, dude, I know why you were so good. And he goes, oh yeah. He goes, why? I go, because you were so present on the motorcycle. You weren't a corner ahead or corner behind. You were right where that motorcycle was. You're like, you charged every inch of the track,
Yeah.
and just and that's what I feel made you so much better. And he goes, well, whatever that means. He goes, I remember I could feel, he guys could feel a rock with my front wheel. He goes, I
Yeah.
knew what my bike was going to do before it hit a bump. And he goes, by the way, he goes, I still remember the smell of my
Yeah.
last race.
True.
So
That's what
that
they talking about
there,
when being in the zone. Like
yeah, I mean, because you
he's
look at Valentino, same thing. You look at
yeah.
Mark Marquez, same thing. That
Yeah.
there's a point where you have to be at feel.
Yeah.
And so once I started understanding that, and I started putting that into my riding after I got done racing, it was a whole different story.
True.
It was a whole different story. It's like everything slowed down,
I bet you're
and
wishing like,
I had
fuck,
this
I wish I
one.
knew this before.
Yeah, 100%. So I
Yeah.
remember where it really made sense to me is when I was at Glen Helen practicing one day, and dude, I was on point, just fucking on point,
Yeah.
hitting everything, boom, 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 boom. And I was coming down the downhill, and there's a turn at the bottom of the downhill, and I saw three spectators standing offside the track, just outside the corner.
Yeah.
And before, everything was just boom, boom, boom. Everything was happening slow. My mind went to the spectators of going, oh, I'm going to blow these people's minds at how fast I go through this corner.
Yeah.
I'm going to blow their minds. Got into the corner. I hit the brake a little too long. I went to the right as a left-hand corner. I went to the right a little bit too much. I pulled the clutch in a little too much, and I went through the corner. And yeah, I probably blew their mind, but the feeling was completely different. It felt like everything sped up. Like
Yeah.
I didn't have time to do these little things that I was doing, because again, when your mind is outside of your riding,
Yeah.
you're going to be split. So things will be speeding up.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Things will be speeding up because your mind, the mental emotional side, is outside of the physical body that's
Yeah.
riding the motorcycle,
Yeah.
right? So when you can align all those things in one, well, then that's where you get, I guess, probably these best evers, because that was so like blatant to me of the difference
Yeah.
of what when I was feeling everything, I had time to get to the toe, time to do this, time to do that, felt more of the traction, slowed down a little bit.
Yeah.
But once my mind went outside of myself, then everything felt like it sped up,
Yeah.
then you're going to be a little bit tighter. You know what I'm saying?
Did you
Because
feel
anytime you're behind the bike a little bit,
yeah.
you're going to be catching up to it all the time,
Yeah.
even if it's just so slight. But at that level, that slight is maybe a second a lap, now 2 seconds, now 5 laps is 5 seconds. Now you lost sight of them. Now it's 10 seconds. Now it's 15 seconds. It just
Yeah.
nobody just pulls 15 seconds on you.
Yeah.
At
It's
that
great
level,
to
it's a slow creep away. You get what
yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you lose sight of him, and then your mind goes to the third place guy.
Yeah.
Right?
So
Where's he at?
when you were in your prime, did you feel like you weren't always in that zone all the time? It was something that you found later. Um
Yeah, I mean, I guess I found later just by learning to feel the bike. Of course, you're always going to feel what you're doing at that level,
mm,
because you've done it so much, instinct, intuition. You've done it so much that it just becomes one with you. Like I can get on a motorcycle right now and people think that I rode yesterday. Might
yeah.
not be fast, but how I can ride a motorcycle, because that never goes away. As I got older, I started changing my ways, of course, changing my technique, from this way that I teach, learning a little bit from Steph in higher gears, more traction,
Yeah.
and then also coming with this idea of learning to, feel the first point of contact.
Yeah.
The first point of contact from bike to ground is your wheels. Second is your first point of contact from body to bike is your feet,
Yeah.
then your hips, then your hands, right?
Yes.
And so nothing matters except those tires. That's the first point of contact is everything, because you could be on a sand track, have the factory bike, but have hard pack tires on. A
Yeah.
stock bike probably with sand tires will beat you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the
Definitely.
first point of contact is everything. And so I really learned this more at yoga. Is like when I do yoga and I'm in my postures, I don't think about where my leg is and where my upper body is, if it's going out of balance or not. I pay attention to my foot.
Yeah.
If my foot starts to wobble a little bit, then I make the correction. Foot wobbles a little bit, I make the correction. The correction, because if I make the correction here, well, that's going to be maybe a couple hundredths or a second faster than making the correction at my upper body. Then it's too late.
Do you think you know how
Does
some
that
of the
make sense?
guys yeah, you know how some of the guys use them paddle tires so they can get out of the gate quicker, but then it's a little bit harder to use for the moto. Do you reckon, going off like what you're saying, it's not worth the sacrifice, even though being out of the gate out the front earlier is a huge advantage? Like, it's just such a hit through the race.
Well, Eli's told me the paddle tire has gotten so good now
Yeah.
that you don't have so much problems with side to side. Because I hung out with Eli for a little bit when I went to Colorado, and he says you don't really have that side to side. Now, if you go to Washougal, you're going to have a problem.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just too hard. It's just too much hard base.
So you just got to know your
But
stuff.
every other track is so dug up and loamy and muddy and this and that or whatever that paddle tire work, and they have developed the side pattern, the side knobbies,
Yeah.
much more. So then you don't get that complete, loss of back end.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and that's why you see a lot. See now it's kind of like corner, point, shoot,
Yeah.
corner, point, shoot, corner, point, shoot, and not just big broadsides, power slides and all that.
Yeah.
And so I think, again, but the technology is night and day different than when I raced. So that's going to make things a lot easier, things a lot faster.
Yeah.
Because the rider is the rider. Jett would have been Jett back in the 70s, and Bob Hanna would have been Bob Hanna in the
Because
2025.
this one, like you said.
It's a mentality.
Yeah.
It's a mentality. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not that all these guys are so much better. No, they're not that much better.
Yeah.
They're
It's
just
just different.
they're better taught.
Yeah.
They're better trained.
Yeah.
They have better technique.
Yeah.
So that just comes with that's just evolution,
Yeah.
meaning same with like, if you look at basketball, well, Kobe took after Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
LeBron took after Kobe.
Yeah.
Just like everybody learns from somebody and then puts their own spin with it.
Yeah.
Same in, you look at freestyle and all that. Backflip was the most amazing thing we've ever done. Well, then now everybody's put their spin with it. Now we're doing 3 backflips with twists and all this bullshit.
I
It's
know.
like, whoa.
It's so
So it's
crazy as
just
well, but
it's human progression.
it just used to, like, even now, like what they're doing is, it's way more impressive. But back in the day, it used to seem so much more like full on than it does now. Like, I don't know, like, it's just, I feel bad in a
It
way for some of
isn't.
the guys because they used to be like so much more well known back like in the early 2000s on X Games, and like I feel like
Well,
them
I think
guys.
that's the thing is that they had X Games was massive,
Definitely.
massive. I didn't even know X Games still went on. I had no idea.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So X Games was massive back in the day. Now you don't really see it. So the publicity isn't out there as much, and now everything is more shows.
Yeah.
Nitro Circus, this. It's more shows,
Yeah.
and so I think the competition of it went away, and it's just like is more of a show now,
I
and that's
agree.
why there's more just one trick stuff
Yeah.
and not whole runs,
Yeah.
right? One trick stuff, not runs.
And it's
So
like the whole vibe of the scene as well. I think that really counts for a lot. Even though like what they're doing now is obviously more impressive, the show itself and the scene itself and like what it stood for and the wildness of it and all that pulled people in. Where now it's just very corporate, and I think that
yeah,
it kind of pushes people off a little bit.
yeah, but is it more impressive with the only one trick that they ever do, that they ever practice, that they ever work on,
Yeah,
or is it more impressive to have
do
like
a
a
full
minute
run.
run where they have 15 different tricks?
Yeah,
I'll pick the 1 minute run with 15 different tricks than this one trick that you practice 24/7, and that's the only one and you barely can ride a motorcycle other than that,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So, I'd pick the other one to be more impressive to me because it was more exciting to watch
yeah,
than just the one trick. Yes,
yeah,
that is I mean, it's insanity
Oh
what
yeah,
these guys are doing. I still, I see new. I'm just like, what? How?
yeah,
Like, how? How? Like, how would you even think of that? Or how do you have the balls to practice that? You know what I
definitely.
mean?
Even
It
just
just,
jumping like
so,
one of them 75-foot ramps, even just to jump it with no tricks, like it'd be pretty
oh yeah,
impressive. Let alone throwing a double backflip in there, like yeah, it's insane.
yeah.
But going off like
No, I mean, props to them for sure. I'm just, if we're picking hairs or splitting hairs,
yeah,
well then, I'm gonna split a hair and tell you which side I like.
yeah. I mean, you were in the very first Crusty Demons movie. Um,
Yep.
when you went out and was filming that, and like, did you realize what you were a part of at the time? Like, did you think, hey, I reckon this is a great idea. This could really be something, or they put it out and you're just like, holy shit.
No, we had no idea. It's kind of like, you guys are snowboard guys. All
Yeah,
right, whatever. Oh, you want to just film us ride and have fun? Yeah, shit. We're gonna do this no matter if there's a camera there or not.
yeah,
So yeah, you can film whatever you want.
yeah,
And then it came out, and then the movie was pretty badass.
yeah,
Just with the music and the twist, and it was so new.
yeah.
That's what really blew up our sport.
Definitely.
That '90s time there really blew up the sport,
Yeah,
and got it and made it popular.
and I had
And
a
then
lot
that
of
popularity turned into corporate.
yeah,
Now, to me, so what happened is the popularity came up, and then then once you have a popular sport, you start getting
money.
greedy people, and they're
Yeah,
thinking, oh, well, we can make money off this. So what do
yeah,
they try to do? They start to control it.
yeah, yeah. And they
And that's what
ruin.
happens with all the federations in the world.
Yeah,
Is like, we can make money off this, so we need to control it, just like all the governments in the world. Well, we
yeah.
can make money off these people, we need to control them, right?
It
And
definitely.
make sure that they're doing what we want, not saying what we don't want. We're
Yeah,
not showing what shouldn't be seen, and we're only showing what's gonna, pad our pockets. And that's kind of what I what I recognize at the moment.
yeah. That's definitely a lot of truth in that, brother. Um,
Yeah.
I think also like the Crusty Demons movies, like the early ones had a lot of the races on there as well, and it really did paint that picture of like it's not just the free riders and the Seth and all that, but you guys as well. It gave that the motocross of the '90s that bad boy image. Um,
Yeah.
I miss the '90s, bro. Like the '90s was the '90s was fucking dope.
Yeah, I
'80s
mean,
as well, but
it's yeah. I mean, I dug the '80s because those were all my heroes. The '90s
yeah,
were badass,
yeah,
because we didn't have much rules, so to speak. But everybody says, "Oh, you guys were partying and this and that." I go, these fucking guys now party too. They
yeah,
just don't. They just don't show you their party. They don't show you their fun.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And it's not like we partied all the time. We just had a good time like other people would go. Weekend off, we'd go drink some beer at the river. You don't
yeah.
think that these guys are drinking beer at the river or the lakes tonight or this weekend or
Nah,
whatever?
definitely.
I mean, come on. It's being a human being,
Yeah, I
right?
agree.
So it was just that it was seen,
Yeah,
you know? And if you think our partying was drinking beer, well, damn, I mean, yeah, that's all we did. It wasn't anything else. But if that's called partying nowadays,
I don't.
nah, that's
Then
just called a fucking picnic.
you said them pimps and hoes party and all that. Like I don't know if they're doing
Yeah.
that sort of stuff now, man. Like, because you just wouldn't be able to get away with any of it.
Yeah, I mean, the times are different.
Yeah,
Times are different. You have social media, and you're wrapped in this little box, and you have to be what everybody wants you to be,
yeah.
and you have to be kind of suffocated. But I know, again, I know people, and I know people behind the scenes, and I know all these things. So
They're all young
it's
men.
just a different time where you have to be super careful. Yeah, back in our days, we'd have been arrested. You know,
Yeah,
we'd have been arrested. But same with Johnny O'Mara, same with David Bailey, same with all those guys. Maybe not partying, whatever, but just the shit that they did
yeah,
just in public
yeah,
was whoa, whoa, right? I
yeah,
mean, even back in the day, you saw the guys making out with the trophy girls.
yeah.
Now, if you even
Yes.
looked at the trophy girl, you might get a fine, right?
Yeah, I remember seeing Chicken, Jeff the Chicken
Yeah.
Matasevich, saying that he nearly missed the gate drop because he was busy getting a blowjob, and then rushed out and only just made it in time. I was just thinking,
Yeah.
but all the stuff Chicken was saying, I was just thinking, man, like if they took what he's saying and put it like in a bloody Netflix show, like not a doco, but just like like a TV show, and then spice it up a little bit. I mean, the stuff that he was saying was all enough there. Like I thought, man, that'd be so popular. I really always think about
Yeah, I
like,
think there is something coming out of the '90s,
yeah,
because I did a big interview with them and I sent them all my tapes and all these different things. So there is something coming out, and I think it's John Freeman and the guys who made Crusty, I believe, that are doing this thing.
oh wow,
And so it could be really cool. They interviewed Jeff, myself, McGrath, da 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 da. So I don't know the criteria of it or the depths of it,
yeah,
but I feel that I think that they're going to make a big, like a movie or something on the '90s
yeah, and
motocross,
they need it as well.
which would be kind of cool.
Uh, like I've been a UFC fan since the 90s, and like for a long time you could wear the shirts and that, and no one fucking knew what it was. And then it took that one thing for it to blow up, and I feel motocross and supercross is the same thing, because it's an unreal sport, and like it's so dangerous, and like, yeah, it's so action packed, like it's
No, there's
missing that
no
one
there's no
thing
other
where,
there's no other sport there's
yeah,
no other sport like it. There's
no,
no other sport
it's
like it. And
unreal.
again, bull riding, you have to ride the bull for 8 seconds and you fall. Yeah, you fall off every time. But
Yeah,
it's 8 seconds. It's not two 35-minute motos.
yeah,
USC, same thing is that, yeah, you can get knocked out, but do you break a collarbone, a scapula,
yeah,
fracture a wrist, puncture lungs, get
yeah,
a concussion, and break your back all in one hit? No, you
yeah,
don't.
no,
No, you don't. And you have to do this every single day.
yeah,
Plus, you have all four extremities moving at the same time on a 220-pound motorcycle that's producing 400 degrees of heat
yeah,
on a track that's constantly evolving, changing,
yeah,
with over 100 degrees outside, with blurred vision,
yeah,
with 40 riders next to you, and the ultimate consequence is death.
yes,
So if they had a drive to survive, like a ride to survive, just
yeah,
like they did at Formula One, I think their stock went up like 500% since
yeah,
that show came out. So that's all we need to have is a ride to survive,
yeah,
because there's so much more drama in motocross than there ever is in Formula One. I would say in 2 months more drama in motocross than the
definitely,
whole year of Formula One. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Because we have to motocross 3 times a week. They only Formula One on the weekend.
yeah,
So, and they don't deal with injuries like we do.
no,
Not at all. Zero. Zero injuries.
yeah,
So, and they don't have to train like we do.
yeah,
Yes, they train, but it's scientifically proven that motocrossers are the fittest athletes on earth.
yeah,
It's
yeah, I remember
proven
seeing
that
that,
our reactions are faster than any sport on earth.
yeah,
It's
that,
been tested.
and so
You know,
dangerous at the same time,
well, it's because our reaction is from the past,
yeah,
right? We initiate everything. Our bodies are moving to a position before the bike moves,
yeah,
or we know that it's going to come from instinct. If my back end slides sideways and hits something, well, I start moving to the left because I know the bike's coming back over.
yeah,
So it's almost like our reactions are past reactions. I remember I did a test for Nike, this vision thing for Nike back in the day. Derek Jeter, all the best baseball players. And they had all these tests. And the last test was they turned the lights out because you had to pick things.
yeah,
They turned the lights out of it, and you had to kind of go off your intuition and guess where the lights were.
yeah,
I
ah,
had
yeah,
the
I know
I
what you
had
mean,
the I had the best score. I had the best score of anybody that ever took the test,
wow,
and I was the only motocrosser that ever did it. And it was just all professional baseball players and stuff like that.
yeah,
So, so that's saying that the motocross, maybe it's not us, but I'm trying to turn this damn TV.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Um, it's maybe not us, it's what the sport has done to us,
yeah,
meaning
yeah,
that it's sped us up so much,
yeah,
that we become different.
yeah,
And that's kind of how I look at it.
yeah. Do you reckon the sports become way more expensive now, and like that could negate, the next sort of Ricky Carmichael, or the next sort of guy that comes maybe from a poorer background, becoming up on that level because the sport is so much more expensive?
Yeah, Damn it, it's in my eye. Yeah, the sport is way more expensive, and that's just because everything's more expensive. Even an egg is more expensive.
Yeah.
So, this to me, the sport's going to grow popularity wise, which you've seen it,
Yeah.
but participant wise, I think it's at its max.
Yeah.
It's not. How are you going to make it grow participant wise when one, it's so expensive,
Mm.
two, there's less places to ride,
Yeah.
three, it's so damn dangerous, and four, there's no money to make from it.
No. Yeah.
You got to be kind of stupid to put your kid in it, kind of.
Definitely.
I would never let my kid. I wouldn't. I don't know if I'd let my kid race it if he wanted to. Back in the day, of course, but now it's like, yeah, I don't know.
No.
I don't know, and that's where I feel that we're not going to get more participants because we're not doing it right. You have to go spend $12,000 even just to start riding.
Yeah.
Then you got to pay 40, 50, $60 every time you want to ride,
Yeah.
right? Then you got to maintain the damn bike.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Then you got all these injuries,
Yeah.
and you're shooting for what? I know amateur kids that their parents have probably almost spent over $1 million,
Yeah.
and they're not going to make it, man. They're not going to make it.
That's
They're not going
crazy.
to make it. You just did a very dangerous, expensive hobby.
Yeah.
That's all you really did. If
Yeah.
you don't make a living from it, and so that's where I see sport going, and then also humans aren't making athletes anymore. We're making duds.
Yeah.
We are, because the grandma and grandpa were duds from what they're eating, breathing, drinking, da da da. The parents are the same thing,
Yeah.
and then now it's getting just like Possinger's cats. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
No.
Possinger's cats. He did this study on cats that the cats he fed them hydrogenated milk,
Yeah.
or yeah, milk that was shot through a screen. All this took the fats out, took everything out.
Yeah.
After about two cycles of cats, they stop reproducing.
True. Holy shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they stop reproducing because they're on homogenized milk.
Yeah. I mean,
So there's nothing in it, and so the cats stop reproducing after a while.
yeah.
And this is, to me, kind of what you're seeing with humanity, is that
Definitely.
we're producing a lot of just duds
Yeah.
nowadays.
Well, we're not
And
even
then
really
parents, what do they
producing
do?
people.
Yeah, then parents give them a cell phone at 4 or
Yeah.
3 or an iPad. And so now you've lost them. The lights
Yeah.
are turned out. And it's so much easier watching people crash and be dangerous and doing exciting things than actually to go do it.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know. That's just my outlook on it. And so I think there's things need to change. I think, there needs to be an entry level bike just to get people into it, to get the hunger to, like,
Mm.
okay, this is cool. All
Yeah.
right, I dig it. I dig it. And then you can go buy the F1 machine.
Yeah.
Two, you're never going to take the danger out of it. So it's just
Yeah.
like boxing, just like football, or just like rugby. Hey,
Yeah.
you know the sport, bro. You know the sport. And if you get hurt, that's part of the game.
Yeah.
But three, why can't we have more money in it? That's just
Yes.
what blows me away. Why can't we have more money in it? It's just like the MXGPs. Someone could not have a factory ride, have a support ride, doesn't get any salary
Yeah.
because the team doesn't have it.
Yeah.
Gets bonuses, top five. Top five. This guy gets 10th every single race. He makes $0 the whole year.
Yeah.
Zero.
Yeah.
No bonuses from team and no purse money.
Yeah.
I mean, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So dangerous. And then,
When I raced GPs, you'd get qualifying money.
yeah.
When you qualified, you get money, 1,000 Swiss francs, and then you'd make money from both races.
Yeah.
So you could come out there with some pretty good money,
Yeah.
right? But a guy that's paying his own way, or doesn't have the salary, or that can't get to the bonuses, he's making nothing.
Yeah.
He's
Feld and
making
all that,
nothing.
they don't seem to be paying out to the riders or anything. They just, I mean, they give the platform, which is nice, but they just keep all the money. The only reason why
Yeah,
any
they
of the
keep all
riders,
the money.
yeah,
MX Sports and Feld is on the same plane.
yes,
They don't even allow riders to come sell their own merchandise
that's
at the track.
that's
You
fucked.
can't even sell your own merchandise, and we are the people, or they, the kids now, are the people, the riders that are people that come and watch.
Yeah,
And you have such a stranglehold on them. It just, to me, it just reminds me of the government.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
We'll give you a little leash,
yeah,
but boy, we don't want you to have too much, because if you have too much, well, then you're gonna take what we want, or you can have more power,
yeah. They don't want
and
that leverage.
and and then we can't we can't control you.
Yeah. Do you think that might be why they don't try to promote and or do something like that Netflix thing, like because if it gets bigger, then they're going to be the riders are going to have more leverage.
That or like a Mutual, whatever they bought F1
Yeah.
and then they just bought MotoGP.
Yeah.
They would come in and be like, "Hey, we're going to take it over.
Yeah.
Here's a big chunk,"
Yeah.
and that. So they're more scared on not making the money that they make,
Yeah.
and then giving the riders more money and having more power. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
It's just when you get to a point of being so greedy,
Yeah.
you lose empathy.
Yeah.
You lose empathy.
It
You know what I
really,
mean?
as a fan, it rubs me the wrong way as well. Like because, I mean, I do the right thing. I pay for the races and the subscription and that, but I just think, fucking hell, well, like, you need to be paying the riders more, or at all, because you don't pay them anyway. And, like, the
Yeah.
privateers and all that, traveling around the country, risking their lives, spending all that money. And, like, really, you're not going to do anything to look out for these guys? Like, it's just upsetting
No, there's no
because,
there's no insurance for the riders.
yeah,
There's no insurance riders. There's no injury fund for the riders. There's no retirement for the riders.
yeah,
There's zero, zero, zero
yeah,
that they give back to the riders. I don't even think they even give to Road to Recovery, or do they even have their own, I guess serious injury fund or whatever the fuck it is.
yeah,
Or do they have anything where the riders can pay into something so the end of their career, they paid in $30,000 into their career, they come out with 90,
yeah,
whatever it is,
yeah,
just something to be able to help the rider in some little way.
yeah.
But it's just like take, take, take,
Definitely.
take, take. And so if you keep a poor man down,
Yeah,
well, they can't fight back because they don't have any resources to fight back,
yeah,
and they're just going to try to hang on to the little bit that they have.
yeah,
You're gonna create scarcity in somebody, and not like the top guys.
yeah,
They're making a shit ton of money, but
yeah,
they should be making much, much, much more.
yeah,
I think back in 1994, I went 1-1 at the Unadilla National, and I won $2,000.
yeah,
To win a national now, I think what, three, $4,000 maybe.
yeah. It's a
I don't
negligible
even know if
amount.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, even if that, even five, if that,
yeah,
it's nothing.
no,
It's nothing to
yeah,
go and race two 35-minute motos in front of 20,000 fans that over 1 million people are watching on TV.
yeah,
That has Rockstar, Monster, Red Bull, Honda, Cowie, all these big sponsors out there,
yeah,
and you can't pay more. My question was, why don't you get one sponsor?
yeah,
One sponsor. They sponsor. It's a one sponsor for the series that gives $1 million.
yeah,
You take that $1 million and you put it into a points fund,
yeah,
right? Into a purse fund. That's it. You guys can do without $1 million from a sponsor,
definitely.
but at least put that, because there's sponsors out there that would give $1 million to have their name around the track and on the bike and stuff like that. But
Yeah,
everybody knows that money there is for the points fund or for purses.
yeah.
It can't be that hard nowadays. It
It
can't be
it
that
can't
hard
be. It
nowadays.
just and then because it can't be that hard, then it really just says that they don't care. And, like,
No, they don't give two shits, man.
so
And I
it
know all the
sucks
people at
because
the top. I
yeah,
know all the people at the top, and they don't care, man. They
yeah,
don't care. I mean, it's not just in America. It's in Australia. It's in New Zealand. It's in Europe. It's everywhere.
yeah,
It's everywhere. Once somebody has control, they are so afraid to lose it
yeah,
and so stressed how to keep it
yeah,
that they will just cut everybody else's corners
yeah,
and or threaten them or push them out if there's any challenge.
yeah.
It's just like the government, man. It
Yeah,
really is. It's
it
it's a
always
sad, sad thing. And
absolute power corrupts absolutely.
yeah,
Do you
yeah,
think
you know.
do you think the electric bikes, do you think they'll take over at some point? Do you think they'll be the future and they'll take over the four strokes, or probably not?
I hope not, because good God, if they had a Supercross and it was all electric bikes, the fans would have to be quiet.
Yeah, there'd
You
have to
know,
be like a
the
music
fans would
show
have
or
to be
something at
quiet
the
because the
same time.
fans would be louder than the bikes.
Yeah, Yeah.
And if you hear an
And if
electric bike go through the whoops,
yeah.
it sounds like sounds like someone's having sex. You know, it's
Yeah.
like what in the
And
world?
it's kind of
So
dangerous as well because you can't hear them coming up behind you and
well,
like
that's why you can't have electric bike with a motorized bike in the
yeah.
same time. That's dangerous.
Yeah.
That's really dangerous because I go off of sound.
Yeah.
And again, when Formula One quieted down their engines, they
Yeah.
lost so many fans,
Yeah.
so many fans. So they're even talking about bringing the noise back up, going to V8s or whatever to bring the noise back up
Yeah.
because that's what's exciting.
Yeah.
So when 450s launch off that line, that's what's exciting. My woman here, she never went to a race, and I took her down there and said, "Hey, we're going to stand by the start at Paula," and
Yeah.
they took off, and she was like, "Whoa!" Like blown away because there was so much noise and like force. But if you have things just going,
Yeah.
that's not to me. That's not
No,
exciting.
I
So I
agree
feel that
100%.
they need to have their own like their own avenue of it. Like, how about make a urban supercross where you're racing in Barcelona, in London, in downtown,
Yeah.
through the streets with man-made ramps, down stairwells,
Yeah.
where people can sit on the
That's a
corner,
good point.
no noise, no pollution, no dirt.
Yeah.
You know, just something different. But you're not going to make supercross better with an electric bike.
No, I
It's
agree.
impossible.
Like they
The
definitely
bike, okay, the bike might be better at some time,
mm,
but
it'll hurt the
it's
sport
not going to
overall.
make it better.
No.
Maybe if you brought the technology in where you had an after boost or something like Formula One does, that now the motorcycle went, had an electric, you could push the button that now the electric engine comes on and gives that motorized engine more power to pass somebody.
Yeah.
Okay, but just full electric,
Yeah.
I don't think so. I feel that sorry, but I do feel that it could make the sport more popular.
Yeah.
By now, you can have tracks inside the city,
Yeah.
inside urban places, in warehouses, things like that. You could bring more people into the sport that way.
Yeah.
But the worst thing that they're doing is putting fit kids on electric 50s.
Yeah.
If you're a parent, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Because what do you got to do next after the 50? Go to a 65 and it's motorized, 85 is motorized, 125, 250, F450, it's all motorized. So
Yeah.
why are you teaching a kid to ride an electric bike with no clutch and no gear shifter?
Yeah. Totally
The
different
kid's going to be
style of
so far behind when he gets on a 65 and
yeah.
has to figure out how to use a clutch and use it right and knowing where to shift and where not to shift and all these things.
Yeah. No, I agree. So I'll end on my final two questions that I ask everyone.
Yep.
So
Yes.
favorite movie?
Oh shit. Um, Favorite movie. What have I watched the most?
Like a top three or
I
something.
like Braveheart.
Oh yeah.
Braveheart's good.
Yeah.
Gladiator's good.
Yeah.
Those are good ass movies. Of course, the first the first Rocky was cool.
Yeah.
Um, what else have I watched a few? Like Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
That's a cool
Yeah.
movie too. Just
Yeah.
trying to think of the movies that I've watched a few times, but I would say that
You like
those are kind
inspirational
of.
movies. Obviously there's a pattern there. You like
Yeah, I
inspirational movies.
I love stories,
Yeah.
documentaries,
Yeah.
real life stuff. I don't like slapstick shit.
Yeah.
I don't like sci-fi
Yeah.
or stuff that is too much too much special effects stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And nowadays I can't watch a movie because if you go back and watch in the 80s and stuff like that, the
Yeah.
scene was like a minute, 2 minutes long.
Yeah.
Now it's 5 seconds little blurps.
Yeah.
And if I watch a movie now, I almost feel
80s.
sick. Yeah, exactly.
There's all stuff
So
Rocky and
yeah,
Rambo and
yeah,
Conan and Van Damme. There's a
yeah.
life size.
Rambo was a cool movie too.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah,
Life size Bruce Lee bust just over here that you can't quite see, but maybe if I
yeah.
turn, can you see him?
Oh hell yeah! There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Damn,
Um,
that's
and
cool.
one more question: Have you ever had any supernatural experiences? No,
Nope.
don't.
No,
No.
never heard any voices. Never heard any voices. Never saw any lights. Never saw, any UFOs. Never saw any so-called ghosts or spirits or
Yeah.
some inner feeling. And nah, I'm
Fair
just, like
enough,
I say,
brother.
I'm a very simple man,
Yeah.
very complex, but very simple in my way.
Yeah.
And very, like, very logical, a
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
logical thinker,
Yeah.
and very kind of just grounded. So I think a lot of this stuff is a little, some of it's kind of little hocus pocus stuff. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
That
fair
that
enough.
they that's what I feel a little bit of is. Not saying that it's not real, it's not out there, but
Yeah.
I've never I've
Yeah.
never seen anything,
Yeah. No, fair enough, man.
or have I heard the voice of God, or has anybody ever, spirits ever, angels ever talked to me, or
Yeah. Yeah.
it just isn't.
No, fair enough, brother. Look,
So,
I really
yeah.
appreciate you taking the time, Rhino. You're an absolute legend, and you might be
Thank you, my
retired
friend.
from racing, but you're still Rhino to me, brother. Like, um,
Yeah, I
it
always
doesn't matter.
always tease people. I say, you can't call me Rhino anymore. You, like, call me like a platypus or something.
But yeah, look, like I said, man, like, I've been a fan of yours for like over 30 years now.
Wow, thank you.
No, it's true. Like I grew up, because my old man got me into dirt bikes. I went to my first race when I was two days old. I got my
Hmm,
first bike at 6, and like
nice.
it's my favorite sport. And like you're from the best era. You're from the golden era of motocross, and you were always one of my favorites. So to be able to sit here and have a conversation with you really means a lot to me. So
Well, again, thank you, and thank you for being so patient and kind of adamant on getting me on the show. Because for me, a little bit out of sight, out of mind. I'm just off in my
no,
own
it's all
world,
good, brother.
and yeah, I appreciate your positive comments. Because I do receive a lot of, like, crazy comments. People think that I'm crazy, and I'm like, yeah, you're just looking at me in your rear view mirror.
Yeah,
You're wanting me to be what you want me to be, and you're not allowing me to evolve into who I am.
yeah,
You get what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah,
And also, I think outside the box,
yeah,
and I voice my opinions,
yeah.
and so people can, say that. But I've never heard that I'm a bad guy,
No,
so that's a good thing. Maybe a little bit crazy, but
yeah,
hey,
yeah.
some of the smartest, most influential people in the world will call crazy till their time came, right?
I think if you're gonna be the best you're gonna be one of the best athletes in a given sport. You've got to be a little bit crazy, to be able to push yourself
Yeah,
to
well,
that,
if you're
but
gonna be
in a
the
good
best
way. In a good
musician,
way.
yeah, the best musician, the
Yeah,
best CEO,
yeah,
the best anything. You're gonna be. It shouldn't be a word crazy.
yeah, yeah,
It should be called unique.
yeah. I think people just
Crazy is
say,
the person walking down the street yelling at a fly that's not there.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Crazy is going in and driving your car into a crowd of people.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
No, I,
Crazy
I, I
is.
agree. I think people just
You know.
they just throw that label on people that they don't understand, because if you push yourself beyond what's normal, it can make some people uncomfortable. But like I always kind of say, right, and like there's good people. I don't, it's not that I hate humanity, but just like if you go on, say you go on Facebook, right, you scroll down, you click on any sort of arbitrary post about nothing, and people just cannibalize each other. And like I think social media can give people the opportunity to be who they really are, and like some of them aren't that nice, but they don't really have the guts to say it in person. But I think you're a good
Yeah,
man.
I think
I've
that
always,
it's just it's almost maybe a subconscious way to let out your anger, let out your unhappiness, let out your frustration, let out your unfulfillment. You get what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
So, maybe they're not bad people, maybe they're all a little bit troubled like the rest of us, or you know in the same holes the rest of us, but they just use this to kind of blurt out their shit.
yeah,
You get what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
I don't know. It could be because I don't think I've ever made a negative comment on social media one time. It's just,
No,
that's just that person, whatever.
yeah, I try
What?
to. I'll only say on social media what I would say to someone, and I always try to be respectful. But
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Rhino.
but it takes all types of people to make this world go round,
Yeah, that's it.
and just
Can't
like
have
all
good.
types of trees and bushes and bees and all
Yeah,
that, right?
that's
So
it. The yin and the yang, mate.
you
You
need to
can't have
have
one
that.
without the other.
Yeah, you can't have one type of person in the world to die, because that's in this world we have to have. It's every plant, every animal, every human,
Yeah,
every rock, everything. There's the strong and the weak.
yeah,
You know, you got to have the Republican and the Democrat. You got to have the man, the woman. You got to have this. You got to
yeah,
have it all,
yeah,
because if you're too strong, well, then you're going to become too hard, and you're going to become stale.
yeah,
Or you're going to be locked up or whatever. But if you're too soft, well, then you become too weak,
yeah,
and then you're going to die too. So either way, so again, you need to have that challenge. There has to be a challenge to make progression.
yeah,
There has to be an indifference to make a difference.
yeah,
And that's why we have all this. And everybody wants to make this world, oh, it needs to be just peace and harmony. It's never going to be that way.
no,
It's never has been and never going to be,
yeah,
because that's just reality.
yeah,
It's the person that doesn't recognize it, doesn't live in it, that
yeah,
doesn't live in that world.
yeah,
The person that's paying attention to it, and letting it affect them, is living in that dirty world,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So,
yeah. You're always gonna have that polarization, the yin and the yang, the male and female energy. Yeah,
have to.
yeah, man.
Masculine and feminine. If you don't have that,
Yeah,
nothing will be created. The
yeah,
first energy in all of this universe is sex. Think
yeah,
about it.
yeah. Definitely,
Think
man.
about it. Even the bumblebee and the flower,
Yeah,
it's having sex, so to speak.
yeah. You get the women's energy, the anarchy, and like nice and sunny one moment, cloudy and hailstorms the next. And I always think that the
Yeah,
the man is supposed to be the mountain in the background, like not being in the background, but no matter what the weather is, he's there. He's sturdy.
yeah, yeah,
And the feminine
yeah.
energy is that chaos, and I think it's the polarity of the two that draws us together.
Yeah, and we're not far apart. It's just like that. They say heaven and hell's an inch apart, right? No, because
Yeah,
again, let's say an hour ago you stubbed your toe, you're pissed off, your wife said something, da da da, and you're fucking, and then all of a sudden you get on a call with me or
yeah,
with somebody else, and boom, I'm saying stuff, and you're laughing and you're joking, and now you're happy.
yeah,
Well, you're just like miserable. The life's, this. I'm over this. This sucks. And then, 30 minutes later, you're in the best mood there is, and can't go wait to go meet your friend. So
yeah.
that just shows heaven and hell's an inch apart,
Yeah, that's
right?
so true, man. And it's funny because oh, not we didn't have a bad argument, but we had a little bit of an argument before this call. So I mean, everything you're saying right now, everything you're saying right now is exactly what just happened.
How funny! How funny! Well,
Uh,
that's good.
uh,
Yeah, just go tell her you understand.
yes,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
I understand, baby. I understand. You
yeah,
know me. I understand.
yeah.
So
All right,
that's
Rhino.
good. That's good.
I really
All right,
appreciate you,
buddy.
brother. I appreciate your time, man,
All right.
and
Yeah, thank you.
thank you, brother. Take care, eh?
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, send me clips if you can, and I'll post some stuff up.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that, eh?
Yeah, no
No
problem,
worries,
no
brother.
problem.
All right.
Yeah, you pat your back, I pat you pat mine, I pat yours.
Definitely,
So it
man.
works.
That's it, brother.
Good.
Thank you.
Awesome. And everybody on that's listening to this,
Yeah.
thank you for following.
For the lads.
Thank you for listening, and maybe we'll see you around in the tracks.
Thank you, Rhino. All right. Take care, lads. We'll see you
All right.
next time.
See you guys.
See ya.
Yep.